Okay, so
Then
today we'll quickly look at what
program.
algorithms are. Then after that, we'll quickly dive into the basics of Python, right? The Python programming language. But I want to know how many of you have been able to practice anything so far? Has anyone been able to try out anything interesting so far?
Yes, I tried using it to compute maybe areas of rectangle, triangle, and stuff.
Okay, sounds interesting. Any other person? Okay, I believe the others will contribute later. Okay, since most of us are already into the IT field, I would like to know how would you define an algorithm apart from my definition on the screen? How do you define an algorithm? Before the introduction of Python, have we ever taught anything around algorithms in our syllabus? Or there was nothing like that before?
In my case, not yet, because I've not yet got there.
Okay, I
Okay.
have tried it in C++.
Okay. Is it at the senior high level?
Yes, it's a TV school.
It is a TVET. Okay, okay, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, those of us teaching relative algebra for the form tres, we have an algorithm there. Under programming, we teach them algorithms.
Please, can you come again? I could hardly hear you.
Before you teach them a Q basic.
Please, can you come again? Do you hear me?
I said, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So I said, with those who are in form three, we teach them algorithm when it comes to programming because they do Q basic, quick basic. So we have to teach them algorithm before we go
Okay,
into
awesome.
those.
Awesome. Then it means it's not anything new for, should I say, some of us, right? And as we all know, they are just steps to carry out instructions to solve a problem, right? In a sequential, logical, chronological manner, right?
Yes.
And we can look at a very simple example, right? I'm not a good cook, but I'm also going to take this example. This is interesting. So you are making jollof
It is.
rice. You just outlined the steps, right? I know that some of the common ones are rice, tomatoes, onions, and what have you. Then, so that is the start. You can't start without ingredients. Then the process is what you have to go through, right? So wash the rice, blend the tomatoes, heat the oil, fry the blended mixture, add rice and stir. I hope it will taste nice. Then at the end of the day, when you leave it on fire for some time, maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you can come and check whether it is cooked. Maybe take some grains and squeeze them to find out whether there's any hard part within. If it's all soft, then then I think your rice is cooked by that time. For the taste, you just later. Then the end is serve your hot jollof rice. So this is a very simple algorithm, right? And we assume anyone following these steps should be able to achieve at least, if not the Nigerian jollof, the Ghanaian jollof. Okay. So I want you guys to give me other examples. What are some of the common examples you use to teach algorithms or introduce the the concept of algorithms to your students? I'm quite curious.
Okay, we have withdrawing money from the ATM machine.
Awesome. Let me hear that.
It's a series of steps I would have to look through, but maybe I can't get it correctly. Like in that
Oh, don't worry,
sequence,
don't worry.
I might mix it up.
You just mix it up for us.
Okay, I think you select the language first, and then you enter
Hmm.
your PIN. Yes, you enter your PIN, and then there you enter the amount you want to withdraw, and then you just the money, then the money comes out. I think that is I want to rush through it. I can't mention it sequentially,
Okay,
so
yeah,
that
yeah,
is
I
what I'll
get it.
say.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. So the
yeah.
question then is, why do we go by this approach? Why do we always introduce algorithms to students in relation to programming, computer programming? Why do we do that in the first place? Is it really important? Why don't we just skip this one, jump into the computer programming, start teaching them the syntax, and later on we can talk about algorithms later in life? Why should we be one of the first things we do? Anyone to just help us with a simple explanation?
Uh,
It doesn't have to be the best explanation.
okay. I would say before every program runs, something has to come first. So when you teach the algorithm, you are telling the students that anytime you want to program, there should be a process. There should be step by step. Something has to come first before the other, before you can achieve the results in the program that you want to program.
Okay, that's a good one, sir. Anyone with another example? That's a good one. So basically, as you were saying, we are trying to break the whole thing into steps, right? And the reason is that even in life, there are so many problems, they may look overwhelming at a glance. But what we are trying to impart, or how we are trying to psych ourselves up, is that no matter how big the problem is, break it into pieces, okay? And then those pieces are digestible, right? Even the human body, you cannot just take the whole chunk of banku and then the human body will absorb the banku into the cells. That would be crazy, right? Imagine banku, is it by osmosis or division entering into the cells? That would be so wonderful. But look at the process our body takes the food through to break it down at every stage till it comes to the simplest form. Then at that stage, it's able to assimilate, and then the problem of the body not having energy is solved. So in the same way, we try to pick up a big problem, break it into steps, and once we know we are following those steps, we are going to arrive at a solution. So no matter the problem we are faced with, right? Let's just break it down. And then those digestible steps, we're able to solve or tackle the problem easily. And algorithms have a very good way of doing that. Okay. Then the next thing is that algorithmic thinking, or what brings about this computational thinking, okay? After the fact that it breaks down problems to simpler, digestible forms, it also helps us to recognize patterns in the problem, right? So, because if you are breaking every problem to steps or simple forms, it got to a point whereby you realize that two or three problems are solved in almost the same way. So in that case, that becomes a pattern. And then it means you can use that same process for always solving similar problems, right? And I'll give you an example here. All students needing ID cards. So use the same process for what? Each student. You take the name of the student, the photo, the class, the ID, and then use that one to generate the ID card for the person. And you do it over and over again. Sorry. The next thing, it also gives us abstraction, right? As I said, some of the things, if you look at them at a glance, at a whole, it may look quite overwhelming. But you just look at it from the high level. What needs to be done at this stage? Let's get this one done. After we get this one done, then we can now think of moving to the next stage. So at the end of the day, you are not going too much into the details of what needs to be done, but you are just breaking them into steps. And at this step, you can now deep dive into each of the steps to carry out or bring out a solution. And then finally, with this process, okay, starting from decomposing the problem, identify patterns, abstracting, focus on the high level of the whole problem, then can design a wonderful algorithm to tackle the whole challenge. And algorithms, we've already discussed what they are. So usually one way by which we can visualize, okay, algorithms is by using flowcharts. And this is a very naive one that I have here. right? Just using three elements here. So we have the start or the end one, which is like an oval shape. Then we have the process, which represents with a rectangular shape, right? And then a decision, that's a yes or no with a diamond shape. So just like the jollof scenario we had, there was a start, get all the ingredients, then a series of processes. We can represent each of them with the rectangle, and then the decision stage where we are deciding whether the food is cooked or not cooked. We can use the diamond shape, right? And this is an example of a flow chart representing an algorithm for checking students' exam results. So there's a start phase, then there's a process whereby you are inputting the scores. Then the next one, what phase is the yellow one? Who can tell us? I'll see whether you are following me.
Decision phase.
Decision.
Awesome, awesome. Then we'll decide whether it's a yes or no, pass or failure. Then at the end of the day, we get to our end. So from the start to the end. So this is a very simple flow diagram. Okay. One more thing we'll look at quickly. So this is just the intro before we get to what we want to do today. What is pseudocode? Who can tell us in their own words what a pseudocode is? I just wanted to clear some of these definitions before we start or go back to our code. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Pseudocode.
A code written in plain English text or language.
Okay. Is that Isaac?
Yes.
Okay. You, someone is. Okay, good. So a pseudocode is like a plain English what? Representation of what you want to do, right? Of your algorithm. So yes, yeah, sometimes, or you may somewhat be writing the steps in plain English language, even before you begin to code it out. And I find it quite helpful. Some few days ago, I was teaching one of my daughters how to solve a math problem, right? That was, I think ratio and proportion, but it came in the form of a word problem. And I just gave the question to her. She just jumped and started writing figures and dividing things. And I'm like, this is not how we were taught to solve math. When you are solving a problem, you read every line of the question, then you write it in algebraic form or expression. Maybe there are 50 men in a city. Then you write number of men in the city is equal to 50. Number of women equal to blah, 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 blah. So we learn how to put all our thinking or our thought process in words. And we know that this is what leads us eventually to the solution. So that's the whole idea about pseudocode, right? So it's like almost just like the writing an algorithm, but we just put it in English words. So pseudocodes is a form of algorithm to solve a problem. You can also look at it in that way. But sometimes we just use plain English language. I've seen people using Python as pseudocode. I don't know whether anyone understands what I mean by that. And I tell them that you guys, you don't want to respect my language at all. So they are like Java programmers or C++ programmers, and they want to solve a problem. And they are using Python as their English. It means that Python is so easy for them that they will use it as pseudocode before they start coding in Java or C++. But a normal pseudocode will not necessarily be in Python language, but to be in pure or plain English language. Maybe with some logical symbols, right? But at the end of the day, it should be in pure, close to English language. And it doesn't have to be a sentence with all grammatical, like free of grammatical errors or what have you. No, it can just be phrases, right? Just phrases. So like what we see on the screen right now, please confirm you can see my screen. As you have asked that long time ago. I hope you can all
Yes,
see my
sir.
screen.
We
Yes,
can
sir.
Okay,
see.
good.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good. So we have finding the largest number. So on the left, we have a pseudocode for doing that. You get three numbers, and then you set the largest one. right? And then after that, you compare each of the numbers to the largest, or what you've already said to be the largest. Then if there's any number after the comparison which appears to be larger than the number you set, make that new number the largest and keep on comparing till you get to the end. Does it make sense? This is a problem we'll be solving in future with Python. So you pick the largest number, you get the three numbers. At random, just choose any of them as if it were your largest. Now start comparing the other numbers with this number that you are assuming is the largest. At the end of the day, while you are comparing, if you meet any number which is bigger than this number, make that new number the new largest and continue your comparison. So this is an algorithm that we usually use when you just want to get the largest value from a list of numbers. Okay. And that is just the pseudocode, right? So pseudocode, you've thought through it very, very well, and you're like, this is the way I want to solve the problem. So when you are done with your pseudocode and it works fine, you can try it out for yourself with a few examples. If it works fine, then you can now transfer your pseudocode to what Python code. So usually when you go into a coding interview, I've done a lot of coding interviews with companies, both local and international companies. And sometimes before you even write your code, what the recruiter is expecting from you, okay, or the senior developer is expecting from you, the person he's interviewing, is that you should write a pseudocode. Then even whilst you're writing your code, you are even talking him through your code so that he understands your thought process. So in the world of programming, we know you can right now, everybody can get a script using ChatGPT or whatever. But at the end of the day, we are interested in whether you really understand the problem you are trying to solve. And then you really understand the approach you are using to solve the problem. So that's what is more important for us. So once we know your thought process, then maybe we can fine-tune your thought process or advise you whether to do it in a different way once we get your thought process too. So this is one of the number one things we should be looking out for in students, right? Their thought process. It may look silly, may sound silly, but we are still interested in understanding how they are thinking. And by so doing, trust me, they can solve crazy problems, crazy problems. So over here, this is not something we can do. Maybe a class we can do this later. And that's in a real classroom, right? So these are just some few activities I've included here. When I finally give you these files, please feel free to, I'll teach you how to modify them. Maybe, I think you guys have learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? I believe you were all taking through HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Yes.
So when I give you these files, eventually you can edit it and put your own activities there, and we are good to go. Okay. So these are just activities I've created. Let's just answer these questions and then we can move on. What is the first step in computational thinking? You can type it in the chat. This is just a quick review. If you know the answer, just type it in the chat. Okay, someone is saying B, someone is saying, okay, majority are saying B. Anyone with a different thought? Okay. I think we are all going for B, right? We are all going for B. Okay, and the answer is correct. Next one. Which flow shape represents a decision? Which shape represents a decision? What are we going for? Yeah, we have finished that question one. It was the composition, right? So which shape represents a decision? Let me see. Okay, C. And that is correct. Awesome. Last one. What is a pseudocode? What is a pseudocode? Okay. We are all going for B, right? Okay, that is awesome. Great. Now, one amazing thing about learning or understanding how to use pseudocode or encouraging people to write pseudocode is that who can tell me why it has become quite important or necessary to actually get people to write pseudocode or encourage people to write pseudocode, especially in this era that we are in? What makes it particularly interesting or useful?
Hello, please, can I be heard?
Yes, you can hear clearly.
Okay, so this is Bukari Siaka Tebubu.
Okay, Atebubu,
Okay,
nice.
so to me, it helps to reduce mistakes,
Okay,
and it also make you on point.
okay, awesome, awesome. That's 100% correct. Any other person? In this modern era, I don't want to mention the name of the era in which we are in, but why is it particularly useful, especially in this era? Bukari has given us one powerful reason. Who else can link this to the era in which we find ourselves?
Be able to get a proper prototype.
Proper prototype. Okay, that's good. What else? Which era are we in? Who can tell me?
Gen Z.
Okay, we call the people Gen Z, but like what is really trending in the IT world? Or what is the buzzword in the IT world now?
AI.
AI.
Awesome. Awesome. So
AI.
why is it particularly helpful to encourage people to even write pseudocode or to understand what we mean by putting down pseudocodes? Why is it so relevant? We have a lot of AI systems, right? And the good thing is that if you understand your pseudocode very well, the AI can write the code in any language for you. That's what I'm trying to say. So as long as you put your code, and you can use the pseudocode to do what we call prompting. Prompting or prompts are just the inputs we give to this AI, right? For them to be able to solve problems for us. So you can generate a pseudocode, right? And then you can ask the AI to use your pseudocode to develop or generate a script for you, whether in Python, JavaScript, C++, whatever you want. Do you all agree or we don't agree?
100% agree.
Awesome, awesome. So that is why it is quite relevant that at this time, it may be one of the most important skills, right? So directly using your pseudocode to prompt the AI model can be a very powerful thing to do. And it just let the AI model know exactly what you want to do without beating around the bush. And the more you prompt the AI very well, the better response you get from it. Okay, awesome. So we are done with part one of today's lesson. So we are going on to the part two. Part two. And the part two basically comprises things which have to do with Python basis, right? I believe the first time we met, we basically looked at how to use Python as a calculator. And we even saw the print function, right? We saw this function called the print function. So today we just want to continue from there. Okay. So I may do two things. I may open a Google Colab notebook. I believe right now we all know how to open Google Colab, right? Let's do it together. So you just type Google Colab in your search and then you hit enter. I believe I walked you through how to navigate the Google Colab interface. Did I do that? Kindly confirm for me.
Please,
We
if
were
you
able
can go over it for us.
to... Sure, I'll do that. But I just wanted
Thank you,
one
sir.
person to confirm for me. Can
You
anyone
did.
confirm
You
you did
did.
that? Okay, good,
Yes, you
good.
did.
Okay, so quickly, when you just type Google Colab in your search, Google Colab, and hit enter, usually the first thing that appears, click on it, it will lead you here to this page. Then you can click on new notebook. So Google Colab gives us an interface usually referred to as the notebook interface. It's called notebook because we can do two things in the interface. We can write, number one, code, which is the most important thing we want to do, right? Python codes. And then number two, we can add our own notes to the codes we are writing. So we can write exactly what the code is doing or try to achieve as notes in normal English or text format. So there are two cells. If you see this button here, we call this one the code cell button, right? And this is the text cell. So when I want to really write Python code, I'll use the code cell. When you click on it, it produces code cells for you. If you just want to write a normal text that is just meant for human beings and not the Python interpreter, you click on text and you get a normal cell that you can format, use the bold, italic, and what have you, right? Okay. So this is the interface you'll be using. You can generate code cells by clicking this and text cells. And besides that, all these things are things some of these things we are familiar with them, right? If you want to save any document or file, you go to file, then you usually see some of these things. So when it comes to file, you can save a copy of this notebook. You can rename the notebook. You can upload a notebook even to this interface, right? If you already have one of these notebooks downloaded, you can open it up in this interface. And we'll be doing a couple of those things later, but for today, let's just write some code. That's what we want to do today. So let's go back here. And we wrote this first program, right? Print, we use the print function to type hello world. Let's do that again. So over here, I come and I just type print, submit to my keyboard. And we have hello world. Okay, and we run that cell. To run the cell, you can just click on the play button, or once you are in the cell like this, you can hit the shift and the enter key together. So you press and hold the shift key and then you add the enter key to it. It will run the cell for you. So this is a simple Python function, which is called a print function. It's an inbuilt function. Inbuilt functions are functions that are already there in Python. You just, if you know their names, just list them or write the name down. And then some of them take inputs, right? Like the print function. It takes inputs and prints it to the screen for us. Awesome. So we have that. Then we can add our notes to it. So let's say I want to write a note right below this code cell. Click on the code cell and then go to the text button. Click on the text button and then a text cell now appears below the code cell. So you decide what you want, what kind of cell you want to generate below what. Now you even have the option of moving these cells up and down. So when you look at the right side here, I can move this text cell up by just clicking on the up arrow. And the text cell is now above the code cell. As I mentioned, you are free to write any text you want here. Usually these symbols, the hash symbols, they are used to dictate the font size, right? So I can write, this is my first Python program, right? And now just the same way to run the code cells, shift enter, and then the text will be rendered for you. If I want to be smaller, I just keep on adding more of these hash symbols, right? And it becomes smaller. Good? Are we good? Are we all on the same page?
Yes, we are.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Great. And so we've introduced the print function. Let's go down. we have one thing we call the comment. I think I spoke about it. Now, in this notebook interface, how is Python even treating the text cells? Python is treating the text cell as a comment. And I know some of us have done other languages before, right? The concept
Yeah.
of comment in all other programming languages is basically the same. Comments are not part of the code, right? But we leave them in the code to enhance readability and also to explain what we are doing sometimes to our fellow developers or programmers. So whenever you see people adding English in their code, we call that those sentences comments. Usually they just explain what is happening in the code, right? So I can add a comment here in the code cell. Usually we do that in the code cell. If you want to write your comment outside the code cell, then just use the text cell. It will be fine. Python doesn't care about the text cells. The text cells are just left like a normal word or text document. But when you're in the code cell and you want to still write a sentence here, which is not a Python program, but just your own explanation, then you must use a comment. And one way of doing that is to use this hash symbol inside the code cell. In the text cell, the hash symbol does a different thing. But in the code cell, that's what we use to
As a
write comments.
comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So over here, I can say, what should I even write? A print, let's say I'm using the print function to output the string hello world. Okay. And I believe most of us know what strings are, right? A string is
Yeah.
just characters which are in quotation marks. So that's what we call string. So you see over here, I place a string in the mouth of the print function. Yeah. So this is just a comment. This comment we call the one-line comment, right? It's just meant for me. Python interpreter doesn't care about it. So I run the cell. The code still runs. Python ignores this comment completely, as if it's not even there. Okay, so that's one thing about comments. And in Python, we can have single line comments, we can have multi-line comments. So this one is just a one-liner, right? But we can also have a multi-line comment in Python. And usually multi-line comments, we use triple quotation marks to do that. Triple quotation marks to create a multi-line comment. And the reason why we do this is that it preserves the order, right? It preserves the order in which the text is flowing. But currently, it's not going to work. And I know why it's not going to work because of the way I've arranged the code. But later on, we'll come back to this. Okay. Any questions at this point before I continue? Any questions at this point? If it's all good, let me know. Then we'll keep on firing.
Let's proceed.
Okay, that's just one person. The rest, you can just type in the chat for me. Okay, I think we are good.
Yes.
1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is also another cell, right? Now we can see here that this is also a text cell, and within this is a code cell. And within the code cell, what am I doing? I'm writing normal English word, something that looks like a normal English sentence, right? But I've made it to span more than one line. So this is what we refer to as a multi-line comment, right? And as I said, it is still a comment. What happened? Python completely ignores it and only really runs this one. So that's how comments behave in Python. Okay, let's continue.
Oh.
And I've said that anything within quotation marks is a string. Great. Now let's put the string on hold. Let's put the comment on hold. Let's put the print function on hold. And let's begin to talk about something that is so important in the Python programming language, if not every other programming language. And we call it variables. What are variables? I know there are C++ people here, JavaScript people here. We have Java. So how would you explain that variable? So let me see. Let's write some text, right? So I have a text cell here. I'll create the heading here, variables. Okay. So what are variables?
Okay, I would say they are containers for storing values.
Okay. So do you see some of the syntax for writing these kind of, text in a text cell? Hash, we know it changes the font size, right? And star is, we know now is for bullets. Okay. So someone is giving a response. Is it variables or what?
Then they are
Variables
containers for storing values.
for storing
Values.
values. Do we all
That is
agree?
what I...
Do we all agree? Let me now use the
Yes.
tilde. And let's see what the tilde does.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, this I've used another syntax in the text cell. This one. Okay. So variables are containers for storing values. That's a nice one. I'll just go with that one. I think it's okay. I agree with it. Now, it is so important to understand this because when I was learning programming, this could be a very confusing thing, right? When I was reading people's scripts or when I was reading scripts in general, I was so focused on the names of the variables and I was wondering why this variable or why this line is using this name. And I even thought the name of the variable had to do with what it was even holding, like a direct effect. I later on just realized that they are just containers, and it is just that. Nothing more, nothing less. So if it's a container, I can have containers in my kitchen, and I can decide to just label them with anything and store salt in some of them, store sugar in some of them. The only thing is that these containers are holding something for me. In the Python programming language, okay, containers. Sorry for that interruption. So in the Python programming language, these containers behave quite differently from maybe what you learned from JavaScript, right? And one wonderful thing about Python variables is that you can use one container to store different kinds of data types, right? But in JavaScript and C++ and what have you, you can't do that. Okay. So you realize that when you were doing JavaScript, you could define a container and say that this container will be used to store what? A variable, right? You can also define the container that's going to store maybe integers, a container, let's say for C, for instance, or C++, they do what we call strict typing, right? And Python allows, or initial Python allows what we call dynamic typing. So you can use different data types or store different data types inside one container. A simple example is you are storing an integer in a particular container. The next time you don't want to store an integer in that container, that same container, you want to store a string inside it. Python will allow you to do that. But the other languages,
That's interesting.
it will cause errors. Yeah. So that's one of the interesting things you must take note of. And for this reason, people hate Python because that kind of behavior can cause a lot of problems when you are deploying applications to production. So that flexibility. So because of that, right now there's something called type hinting in Python, and we'll look at that. So now we're able to enforce particular types for particular variables, and we'll talk about that. Okay. Any questions? Any question? Go and continue.
Let's continue.
Sorry, team. I think Zoom kicked me out, and I've kicked myself back in. If they kick me out 100 times, I'll kick myself in again. Okay. So let's continue with this. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's some few rules. I'm just going to dictate those rules. I'm not going to write them. It wastes time. So usually make your variables have meaningful what names, right? Don't just use X, Y, or stuff like that. It'll work fine, but please, let's not try to do that. So look at what I've done above. Above, I've stored these variables inside, these integers, right? Inside these variables. So when I print X, what do I get? I get 1. Who can tell me what I'll get when I print Z? When I print Z, what will I get?
Okay, 3.
3.
That's 3. So at the end of the day, as you rightly said, it's not a matter of the Z. See, we don't even care about the name Z. All we care about is what is inside the Z, and it's how Python reads variables. Python is not reading the name that you are giving to the variable. Python is rather reading the content of that variable, that container, what is inside. So when I say print X, Python is not going to print X for me, no. It's going to print what is inside the container we have labeled X. That's why I
Which is
said understanding variables as containers is like a very powerful thing to have, right? Right from the beginning. So don't let the names interrupt the way you are reading the code, because the names are just names or labels of the container. What is important is what is inside the container and not even the name of the container. Okay, and we don't name variables with digits, right? Like we don't start name variables with digits. Like I can't name a variable like this too sure is equal to maybe 1, 2. We don't do this, you get an error, right? So we can't, yeah, we don't do this.
Yeah.
And also we don't, these are some of the common mistakes beginners make. I know some of you are not beginners, but please let me just go through this. I can't name a variable like this. Maybe username is equal to, let's say, Kwame. Who can tell me what is wrong with this?
String is not in quotation,
There are spaces.
and there is space in the variable name.
So okay, let me remove this problem here. So the problem I want to focus on is the space in the variable what name. So when you
Name.
want to,
Yeah.
yeah, because if you are doing this, Python is trying to read these two things as two separate variables, right? And we'll not even know why you didn't separate them with a comma. If you wanted to use two different variables, you have to separate them with a comma. But if the same variable and you want it to look so much like English, so you've left a space, It's going to create problems. So we don't do this. It also give us error. Okay. Then when you're naming variables, to make sure that you don't add special characters, right? Like price in dollar. You want to do this. It's equal to maybe 2. Make sure you don't do this. What did I write? I wrote Prince. Okay. You also don't do this. It will give you problems. And other notes on variables, that variables are case sensitive, right? So this age is equal to 10. If I now tell Python what is age, if I say Python print age for me, Python will tell me something. It's saying that there's a name error. Name error means that it doesn't even know what you are calling right now. It simply means the age over here is not the same as this age over here. But if I change this
Yeah.
one and I make it age, I'll get 10. So Python variables are case sensitive.
Sensitive.
Okay. And then there are some words in Python we call keywords. You can also use them for your variables, right? Like this word. When you start typing a word and it becomes blue or purple, be careful. It is a keyword.
Keyword.
Keyword means that Python has already given it a meaning, and Python already knows what it means. Don't try to store anything inside it. And in some languages, when you even do this, you cause problems. So you don't even try to do this. So you see, you're getting a syntax error, right? Because Python said that, hey, you can't use 4 as your variable. 4 is a special name in Python. Okay. So I've already mentioned that in Python, team, please, I'm coming, hold on. Okay. I've already mentioned in Python, you don't declare types, right? You don't declare types. You can just go ahead and use your variables like x is equal to 5. Then later on, I can say x is equal to maybe hello. Python has no problem at all. So this is dynamic typing, right? Okay. Now there are so many other rules, right? So many other rules. So I'll leave you to go and read some of them. We call this one the PEP 8. PEP 8. So this is a style guide for Python code. My dogs are really disturbing me. Sorry for that. Okay. So please take your time and look at this style guide, and it will speak thousands or millions to what I'm trying to say here. I can't finish all of the guidelines. So when you are free, please just go through this, and then you see all of the advice those who own the language are giving to us. Okay, good. Hope you are good. Great. So that's what variables are. And I always tell people that sometimes variables are okay. Let's say in my line of programming, okay, when do I use variables? As the name goes, something that varies, right? Variable means something that varies. So I'm writing a script to do a whole lot of things for me. For those who build softwares and move the softwares to different templates. So we have what we call the development stage. We have what we call the staging, and then we have what we call the production, right? Production. Okay. So these are just phases in the software deployment lifecycle. So when the programmer writes code, is at the dev. When they are testing it, they usually test it at staging. And then when it is finally online for everybody to use, we call it one at the production stage. Now, there are certain parameters that may be associated with each stage, right? So if I'm at the dev stage, maybe the dev stage, and the parameter there I'm using is 1, right? And then at the production stage, the parameter I want to use there is what? Probably 2. And, oh, I forgot the staging stage. Maybe this one is what? 1, 1.5. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
So I'm writing code, and let's say the first line of code, I just do print. Let's just take this naive example, right? Print def. Then the next one is something like print 2 times def. Let's just assume this is like the whole program I'm trying to develop. Okay. Now this program is going to run, right? And because I'm using def in so many places, I have 2 options. Without the use of variables, okay? If there was nothing like a def container, what do you think I'll be doing? Then I'll be typing, I have to, each time, let's say if this def changes from 1 to 1.2, my CEO tells me to change def from 1 to 1.2. I must come here and come and type, maybe hard-coded, I'll type 1 here. Wherever there is def, I'll type 1. I'll type 1. Imagine we have 1,000 lines of code. Then my CEO tells me that def is no longer 1. Def is now 1.2. I must now come to all the lines of code having def and come and write what? 1.2 there. 1.2. 1.2. 1.2 and then 1.2. Now, do you see the problem? I hope you can all see the problem. So without
Yes, sir.
using variables, you have to hard, and then you are just hard coding the thing. If you have to make any change, you make it in so many places. So that's the reason why we will just stick to using variables. And then if I want to change the value of def, I'll just come here and I'll type 1.2 and I'll just run this code again. And it will affect all the places that there is def. If I say def is now, let's say 3, and I run my script, it will now affect everywhere there is def. I don't have to now go and be typing 3 all throughout. So this is one clear use case of variables, right? So if you have things that can change in, or you may want to change later in future, and it may affect so many places in your code, then use a variable. So once you may divide it outside there on at the top in a global space, once you change it there, it affects every other place. So this is just one simple use of what? Variables. Okay. So we've seen that creating variables, we can use, instead of using an empty space, we can rather use what? An underscore. And then we can use meaningful names like age. So when people are reading your code, they know that, oh, the Kwame here means student's name. The number here means student's age. So that's the only reason why sometimes you see the variables taking on things like this. That makes sense. So they are, at the end of the day, they are just containers. These names don't really matter to Python. Python just focusing on what is being stored inside them. But for readability's sake, for the benefit of other programmers you'll be working with or other developers you may be working with, we make sure that we name them in a very wise way. So that when someone else, not the Python interpreter, no, but when another human being is reading your code, the person will not be angry with you. You can give your script to someone and the person will just be angry with you the whole day. And you don't know why the person is angry with you. I went to one company and I look at their script. In fact, I was so angry I didn't even want to go back to to even work the next day. They did not obey PEP 8 at all. Their indentation were bad. their naming convention was bad. And it's difficult to work with people like that. So instead of something I could have understood within one day, I must now use about 2 weeks to understand the code that they are even trying to write. So this is the point that we really want to drive home, that variable names should be meaningful, right? It should be helpful, and then it should follow proper naming convention. Okay. So the typical case you are seeing here. So whenever you are using underscores to separate names, Python just calls it, you are doing what we call snake case, right? And sometimes you see that there is no spacing. We can also do what we call the camel case, whereby you begin the first word with a small letter and then you continue the rest with the next word you begin with a capital letter, right? You capitalize it. And that one becomes camel case like this. Let me just show you. Some of these things are just the nitty-gritty stuff, right? But we just have to know them from the scratch. We are not writing any serious codes today. We are just understanding the syntax. Okay. Good. Just type good for me if you are good. Okay, let's move on. So I'll give some of these rules, and later on we can look at more. Okay, now we are going back to data types and come to link them with variables again. So variables are containers, and they can store any of these data types for us: string, integer, float, and what boolean. We've already seen string already. Integers are also numbers, positive and negative numbers, right? Floats are numbers with decimals, and booleans are true or what? False. And variables can store any of these things for us. And as I said, you can use one particular variable. One time it's storing this string, next time it's storing integer. Python allows this dynamic type. Okay. Any questions for me? If I continue. I believe no questions. Let me see. Is that something in the chat? Okay, good. Let's continue. So right now we can check the data type of what is stored inside the string. I mean, there's variable, sorry. So this is total price. I can just use an inbuilt function called type. And I'll just type total price, right? And you see that the type of the total price is what? An integer. What about if I put this one in quotation and I run it and I run this cell again? It is now what? A string.
A string.
Yeah. What about if I change it to false? This is a boolean, right? And I run this,
Boolean,
I get a bool. So variables can store any of those data types for us. Okay. Now at this point, we want to do something a little more not boring, interesting. And this may be the beginning of we writing something that is useful, right? So this is a simple script we want to do. We want to ask or write a simple script. I don't even want to say program. That just takes input from users, right? And how we're going to do that is by using the input function. It's also another inbuilt function in Python. So this, the function, it's an input function, right? So when you just call this input, what you provide inside the mouth of the input, what we call the argument, okay, is a string. And basically whatever you want to write in that string, that is what the user of your application or your program will see. So if you are interested in taking the name of people, it will be wise to put a string which is asking for name, right? And not a string that is asking for their date of birth. Else you're getting the wrong something. So let's look at something. So let's say, which lady is in the call? I see no lady. Oh, my eyes are not good. I see Angela. Okay. Angela, I'm using your name, okay? Do I have the permission to do that? Angela. And I run this cell. And it's saying, what is your name? Angela. And that is all. But we ask ourselves the question, is this useful in any way? SQL is just taking input from the user.
Input,
This,
yeah.
yeah, this is where variables now become more helpful. So whatever we take from the user, we would like to store it somewhere, and then variables now comes into the picture. So we can just say that we want to create a variable called name, right? So that whenever we take input from the user, the input goes where? So this part is just doing the data collection for us. So when data is collected, it will now be stored inside a variable called name. Let's try that again. So what is your name? Angela, I'm calling your name again. I hit enter. The program has finished running, right? But now we know that we store the name here. So I can say print what? Name. And then what happens? Voila. Angela has been stored there nicely for us. Please, does it make sense? Now we are trying to combine all of them. String input variable. We've written a simple script to collect user input and store it in a variable called name. Makes sense? My Indian lecturers will say,
Yes.
makes sense. Yes, no, maybe. And I'll just be sitting there, I'll be laughing. I'm like, these people, this is not how we speak English in Ghana. We don't say yes, no, maybe. We just say yes and no. Yes or no, not yes, no, maybe. Okay. But I'll be using yes, no, maybe because I love my Indian guys. Okay. Ladies are saying we are good. If the ladies are good, the gents too, I know they will also be good. Okay. What do we have next? So we've been able to do that. Now, can we build something more useful? I'm thinking. Uh, okay. You've seen the math operations, right? Let's build a calculator. Not, I don't mean a sophisticated one, a simple one. Should we attempt to build a calculator?
Yes.
Okay, what type should we build? A one that asks you for two numbers and then adds them for you, right?
Yes. I think we can try with that.
Let's try that.
Yes.
So I'm not going to do anything. You guys are going to do everything. I'll just be typing for you. So whatever you say, I'll be typing. If you're ready, I'm ready. Should we start?
Sure.
This is a class activity. Building a calculator that adds two numbers. Okay, are you ready? If you're ready, I'm also ready.
Input
Guys, are
statement
you
to
ready?
enter. Input statement to receive the first number.
Okay, so good. What do we do now? From what we learned from the beginning of this class? How should we solve this problem?
We write the steps.
Okay,
The
lovely. I
pseudocode.
like that. So let's write them as comments, okay? So the first one, what do we do?
Receive first number.
I can't hear you. There's bad noise, background. I mean, I get background feedback. Can you lower your? You are not on the radio. I would have to ask you to lower your volume.
Receive the
You,
first number.
you ask the
Please.
user for the first input, the first number.
Okay. Ask the user for the first number. Okay. What else? Our CD code.
Number.
What else?
Yes, you ask for the second number.
Okay. What else?
Then we add the two numbers.
Add first number and second number.
Okay, in the last one, they said we should add the first number and the second. Okay, who wants to refine this? Any addition, any subtraction?
Yes, a container to hold the answer.
Okay, where do I put that?
After the addition.
Let me number that. Them.
So it will be number 4.
Number 4.
A container to hold the total, the answer.
So store the final answer
in
in
Stam.
uh okay, in a container. Let's say variable, right?
Of uh,
Someone says just use the math word sum. Okay. Are we done or there's something else that we can do to refine this?
You need
If
variables to store the
Peter,
first and second numbers.
okay, that's good. So we are refining it now iteratively. So store the first number in a variable. Okay. Any other thing?
Store the school.
Do the same thing to the second number.
Store the second number in a variable.
Okay. Okay, good. Any more refinement or we think this okay? It's okay for us. Okay, now let's start coding.
display some.
Will you display the sum? Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
It's a PC.
Display the sum. Okay.
Okay, so now give me the codes. The first one, what do we do? From what we've learned so far.
The variable is equal to the input statement receiving the first number.
What name should I give to the variable?
Num1.
Hey,
Num1 equal
which of them? Hey,
That's interesting.
that's very, very interesting. So
Mhm.
enter.
First number.
Okay. Okay. Next one.
Num2.
Num2.
Enter the second number.
Okay. What we are done, there's someone will make us refine it, okay? Then what else? What the next step?
Sum.
Sum. Is
It's
that the name of
equal
a
to
variable? You can use result, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone says use sum.
Okay.
The
Result
result
is
is equal
equal
to.
to
Num1
num1
plus into
num2.
Okay. Then what else?
Print
print
result.
result.
Okay. So we think this is good enough. Any refinement?
Python input statement will by default is a string, so we have to convert it into integer, the numbers we are taking.
Okay. Please, who doesn't understand what he's saying? Let me start from that point. Do we all understand what he's saying? Or would you like us to test this one and see whether it works or not? We test it.
Let's test it.
Let's test it first. Then it makes sense, more sense. Oh, it's working. So let's see whether it works to the end. Hmm. So enter first number. Any number. Give me any number at all.
8.
3. Okay. Wow, it's working. Next number.
8.
8. Okay. But our final answer is 38. How on earth did we get that?
So taking
Someone
it
say
as a
8.
string.
So a certain principle is working here, right? And that's the principle of strings. Strings, when you are adding strings, like the string 1 plus the string 2, when you add them like this, what do you get?
That's 12.
12. This is not the number of, it's a string of, it has just concatenated the 1 and the 2. So that's what's
Yeah.
happening to our inputs. It's just concatenating them because they are strings.
Oh, okay.
So to verify that, let's find the type. We learned about type, right? So type of result, what is it? As a
Integer.
result is this is a string.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
this is a string. I said you wanted
Yeah,
an integer.
that's why it's giving us it's concatenating the 3 and the 8. It is a string.
So we should have defined it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what our
We
friend is advising us to do is to do what we call
int.
type casting. Type casting. So we will force the inputs
Int.
we are taking to become an integer.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what he advised us, that see, guys, we are going to get string at the end of the day. Let's change it to integer. And then let's see whether we'll get the same thing. So right now, the same thing again, 3, 8, and what do we get? 11. Let's find the type of the result. It's now an integer.
Okay.
Does it make sense? Yes, no, maybe.
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So this is Python team. This is Python. Isn't it so easy? So I think we introduced this math operations, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulus. That's a modulo operation, modulo arithmetic, right? Then powers. Okay. Now the calculator we have built, let's give it some flesh. Then we will come to some of these activities, okay? Maybe I'll break you guys into groups. I'll give you a problem to solve. You solve it for me right now. But before that, let's do something interesting. I'm not yet teaching functions today, but for the sake of what I want us to do quickly, I will teach you a little about functions. So functions in Python, okay? Let me write notes. So I go for the text cell. So functions, intro. This is just intro. I'll not go deep. So we are concerned about the input part, the processing part, and then the output part, right? So for functions, we'll be looking at these three parts, okay? The input of the function. If you read function in basic one, that is primary one, they will draw a, what do you call it? A cornmeal machine. Do you guys remember that? And they'll tell you that you put the maize inside the machine, then you grind it in the middle, and then outside the dough comes out, or the flour.
Mm.
That's how functions behave. There's an input which takes your stuff, the processing part, and then the output. So functions are created in Python, okay, by using what we call a keyword called def. To create a function in Python, use the def keyword. And then Python knows that this guy is trying to create a function, right? Python will know. Okay, let's create a simple one. So I'm going to define a function called add numbers. So when you define a function, you must give it a name. Add numbers, and it adds A and B. See, I'm doing a simple one, and then I'll let you guys do the difficult one. Is it a good deal?
No, it is not.
I mean, that's what you have been doing to the student. I'm doing something to you. You give them easy work in class again. Okay, so we will say import. Today I'm taking revenge for the students. Import gradio as GR, right? And this is what we call the alias. I explained this, that in Python you can bring almost everything. But when you are importing the thing here and you want to use it, you can give it a nickname. We call the alias. So Gradio is a library used to create apps in Python. Simple apps. So I want to create a small app for you guys to see. So that's why I'm importing Gradio from the Python repository. This one is not from US or Canada, it's from Python. So I'm importing Gradio as GR. So whenever you see me typing GR, because I'm too lazy to type Gradio in full. So this is the programmers are lazy people, right? That's why I'm using GR. Okay. I hope I've explained this line. It's just an importation from the Python port. Okay. So the real thing I'm creating is down here. And then, so this is my function. The function is called add numbers. What is it doing? It's just taking two numbers. Let me make this one meaningful, right? I said we should make our variables meaningful. So I'll call this one num1 and I'll call this one what?
Two.
Num2, right? Okay, good. And return. I'll talk about return shortly. Those who have done programming, they already know what it means. You guys did JavaScript. So I believe you already know what return statements mean. So that's what gives us the output. Okay, but as I said, I'm just giving you, this is a small demo. We'll go into functions in more depth than this. This is just intro. So the function has a name. It has what is going inside the mouth of the machine. That's num1 and num2. And what is going to come outside? That's what the return is doing. So return just tells what's coming outside. It is just num1 that divided num2 to it. Okay. Now the rest of the code, please, you can close your eyes and close your ears. That's if you don't want to get scared. In fact, it's not scary. Just open your eyes. So I'm creating the Gradio app for us to see. Okay. Today I'm just doing it for you, but after this, you do it yourself. I will explain to you what it's doing. Gradio is so easy. Trust me, you can build 1,000 apps with Gradio a day. So what is the Gradio app doing? Gradio app, if you want to create an app, this is as simple as just this. This is what the whole app is about. App is equal to app is also a variable, right? So the Gradio interface, we want an interface. That's our app. So this is all of it. But we might just put certain things inside the interface, right? And the first thing we are putting there is the function that we want to use. So we want to use the add numbers function. Good. Then we only tell Gradio, the kind of inputs I'll be taking. Gradio must understand the kind of inputs so that I can give you a very nice app, right? So I'm just the Gradio, the input I'm taking is a number. They're just numbers. And let's just label them. The label means nothing. It's just like a name or tag you are giving to it. That will just come in the app. So let's label the first one number1, right? And then, so the inputs are 2. That's why I'm doing Gradio number 2 times. Gradio number 2 times. And the second label, let's label that one what? Number 2, right?
Number 2. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are good. You're very smart. Then, what else we do? If we told Gradio about inputs, what should we tell Gradio about again? Guess. This is all we need though. We don't need anything again.
About
See,
the
it's very, very
function.
easy.
Then it should return.
Okay, I've given function, I've given input. It's only left with one last thing,
Return.
which we will call
Output.
output. Awesome. See, that's all. You guys have created your first app. Trust me. If it doesn't work, we'll blame that one. I'm referring to the number one here, or not the other person. Okay. Results. Then let's give our app a heading. So when somebody opens our app, the person will see something like the heading that the person will see. So they'll call that one title, right? Okay, ladies, please don't leave the call. I finished. Gentlemen, don't leave. I finished. People are saying that we didn't come here for all this trouble. Please, I finished. And when you build an app, what do? You have to launch the app, right? Okay, so let's launch this app. And then that's all. We are done. I think this app will not work because Google Colab, I'm praying that they have installed Grady already. If they've not installed Grady, I must install it myself. So let's see whether it works. So that is all, and then we'll test our app. Okay. Oh, inputs and outputs. What did I type? I didn't bring the S, right? From the error message, I said, don't be afraid of error messages, right? They tell you what to do. So they are saying that required conditional argument, inputs and what? Outputs. But
Outputs, yeah.
I didn't bring the S. So this is not in this scary error. Let's run it again. And our app is launching. Wow. For real, let's check it out. See, this is our app. So number one, this is the labels. This is the labels. This is what the labels are used for.
Yeah.
And this is what the title is used for. So easy.
Wow.
So 1 and 2, we submit, and the result is what? 3.
Great.
Do you know the amazing thing about this
Nice one.
app? I can share the link with you right now. You can open it on your phone or anywhere, it will work. So I'm sharing the link
Okay.
with you.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
It's great.
great. That's great. It is.
So check
Very
the app
interesting.
out. Yeah. So check the app out. Are you able to open the link? Let me know if you're able to open the link.
Yes, I've opened it.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to share this notebook with you. And then I'll break you into groups. I hope I can break you guys into groups. Yes, there are breakout rooms. Good. Then you guys will do the subtraction app for me. No, a multiplication app. That's all. And
No
I'll
problem.
come to your rooms and see what you are doing. Yeah. So let me
No problem.
let me share this link with you so that at least you can copy what I've done a little to create your own. Let me see. Anyone with a link? A viewer, correct? This is a good permission. Copy link. And then I share the link in the chat here with you. Okay, awesome. At least you can tell your friend that you're an app developer now. You are building apps.
Oh, yes.
Add it to your CV.
It's interesting.
Oh, of course. We have
Yeah,
a very rich CV this evening.
exactly. Senior app developer.
Serious.
App. Okay. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah, the link is working
The link is
perfectly.
working. Okay.
Yeah.
Put it in a WhatsApp chat too
Yes.
before we break into our rooms and get our hands a little dirty, a little. Okay. So what are you going to do for me? I'm going to create a text cell below the app. So look at below the app. If you have opened a notebook, you can look below the app and I put the question there. So that's the question, the problem statement. Create a simple radio app that takes 2 numbers. from a user and multiply them. That's all. That's all. That's your problem of the day. So what will you typically do? Typically, when you get a notebook link, let me show what you do. If you want to code directly from there, like on top of what I've done, let me share my screen again. So whatever link, I mean the notebook link, just go to file and click on create copy. What is it? Save a copy in Drive. Like, yeah, save a copy in Drive so that you can have your own personal copy of this notebook and then you can play around with that one. I hope it's straightforward. So let me
Sir, please
break you
go
guys
over.
in. I should go over.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
No worries. Please, I'm coming. So when you see this notebook, when you open the link, you see this notebook here, what we've used today. So you just
Yes.
come to file. When you click on file, you move down here to save a copy in Drive. When you click on it, automatically it will open a copy of this same notebook. And with that copy, you can edit it. For my copy, you can't edit it. But if you save a copy for yourself, you can edit that copy. It will be the same thing. So you can just go down there, you see the question down there, and you can start coding from here. Make sense? So it's going to be very easy, right? Just look at how they did it for the addition app. And yours is just change the name, change the operation here. I know you get it right. And then whatever you have to change again, just change it. This is a very simple exercise. So let me break you into groups, okay? Let me see. You are 18 people in the call. Let me say, if 3 people in a group, no, 3 people in a group will not be 3, 6, too many groups. 4 people in a group, 4, 4, 16, at least I think is good. Or we can just have 3 groups, right? 3,
Yeah.
6, 18, right? So 6 people in a group is okay, yeah. So automatically, yeah. Okay. So please join the link. You see a link, just click on it to join. So I'm opening the rooms right now. Hey, how come I have 6 rooms? No. Please hold on. Let me split the settings again. Breakout rooms. Let me recreate. I just need 3 rooms. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go to our rooms. Please join your rooms. Join your rooms. Click on the link to join a room. And I'll come there and check what you're doing. Everyone to join their room, please do so very quickly. Samuel Saforo, please join your room. Administrator, join your room. Theo, join your room, okay? The guys who are still here, please join your rooms. If you join the room, you will leave this call. If you don't know how to join, let me know. Let me help you.
Please help us.
Okay. Do you see a link? There's supposed to be a
Yeah.
link on your screen. Yeah, just click on the link to join. So the link that has appeared on your screen, just click on it and to lead you to your room. So let's click on join. Or you still don't see it.
Yeah. I think I clicked on the link, all right, but I can still see myself in the on the Zoom
Here. Okay, what
as
do you
part
see
of the
on the
members.
pop-up? What do you see on the pop-up?
This is my first Python program, and
No,
then
I
the
mean
code we have, the print.
the invite link to join the room.
Okay, let me go back. Lesson 1.pynb collab notebook.
No,
Staring.
no. I mean, not the links I have shared, though. I mean, in the Zoom. You see, I've put you guys into groups. So right now, you're supposed to join your group.
Okay.
So
Oh,
look for where
okay.
you can click
Okay.
to join your group. Yeah.
Okay, join. Okay.
Click on join. Yeah. Where did you see it? So that the others will know. Okay, he's gone. Guys, please look for your link and join. There's an invite to join a certain room. Bukari, have you seen the invite?
And how can I join this thing? Eee. Oh, finish and leave.
Samuel, you are not in any group. I have two Samuels here. Why? You weren't able to join a group?
Sir, please, I saw one at the Google Drive. It's not the one.
No. The group link is somewhere around here. It's supposed to be here in the Google, in the Zoom meeting, not outside. So look for it here.
Okay.
I've forgotten where you. I think it's found as where the participants are also. Check and let me see. Yeah, some of that you to try and see whether you can find where the breakout room is. Welcome back. How was your flight?
That's awesome.
Okay. Was it a good experience?
Yes,
Very,
that's a good.
very good experience.
Okay, that's great. Happy to hear. So, team, I think this is where we will end with the intro to Python. So this is the
Thank you
intro,
very
right?
much. Okay.
So we have not finished the Python course. So
Yeah, I
this is
know.
okay. The way the vote of thanks were coming. Okay, so
Uh,
But
wait,
you
we
were
wait,
will.
wait.
sweating.
I wanted to look at doing something unique. It's like we have about 4 more weeks, in quote, 4 more meetings.
the 2.5 price responded
Okay.
to the accusation of the
So I don't
Hitler
know whether I
and
should do
have
all the four
a
meetings next week,
and his people down.
or
Hey,
I can try and squeeze one meeting this week. Then we continue in January. Which one do you guys prefer?
Please, I didn't hear you well. Can you repeat what you said?
Okay, let me meet everybody before I repeat.
You are doing the right thing. You
So what I'm saying is we have 4 more meetings, and those 4 more meetings can mean 4 more weeks or 4 more days because it's just once a week, right? So I'm thinking if I should put the 4 more meetings all in next week, and then we are done with this whole Python program, or we should do just one meeting next week and continue the remaining 3 next year. So that's what we have to decide. I know most of you will be on a break shortly, right?
and
And I don't know how
possible.
it's gonna. So let me know. Let me know your thoughts.
Okay, is it possible to put all the four next week?
I can squeeze myself. It's not going to be easy, but I'll try. I can try.
Then it means you can also help us with some videos if you put all in one.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe what I'll do is that I'll just do 3 next week. Then I'll leave the last one for first week in January or something. Then that last one I'll leave. It will be project presentation. So I'll put into groups and you do a project for me and present when we come back next year. And then we are done. How does that one also sound? So 3 meetings next week. Then the whole holiday will be, you just work on the project. Maybe second week in January, we can meet and discuss the project. Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes
Hello, sir.
sense. Provided
Yeah.
you will be able to
If it
split
is
your
going to be
time.
if there's going to be 3 meetings next week, then
Then I didn't hear the remaining part.
which days are they going to be on? I would like to know that too.
Hopefully, I
I
think
said
I
if
better,
there's going to be 3 meetings next week.
yeah. It's better I push
Yeah.
them to the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we are done. Because I know that getting to Friday, we will all be busy because the festive season is very near. Maybe some people will be traveling and a whole lot. Or what do you
Okay.
think? What do you think? Just be frank with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that will be okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, well, at least it will be okay.
Okay.
Is it okay or it will be too much? Let me
Mm.
know.
It will be okay for me.
It'll be okay. Awesome. Let's try it. If we do Monday, Tuesday, and we think we are tired, then we just end it. Then we consider the last 2 meetings next year. Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, team. Thank you so much for joining today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much too.
Hopefully
You
the
Thank
have
next.
made it very exciting, and
Oh,
I'm
thank you so
loving
much for
it.
that. For your
Yeah,
kind
thank
words.
yeah, you are
Yeah, we
doing
appreciate
very, very well.
you.
Okay. Have a wonderful evening
Yeah.
too. Bye bye.
You too.
Bye.
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 Waiting
Bye.
for the video.